We're
We're
back.
back. Well,
So it's been a minute. We've been gone for just a hot second, but lots of life has happened since our last podcast. So, Jenna.
yes. Lots of life. Yeah. Had a kid. 7 months old now. Got a baby girl. Then
Yeah,
what? Okay.
you can go over the birth experience. Your birth experience.
Do you want me to get into that? Because
Some people might like to know. Inquiring minds would like to know how your birth
inquiring
went.
inquiry, uh, not at all to plan. So first off, my due date got pushed back. Literally, like a few days before I went in. Uh, my due date got pushed back a week, and so I'm like, okay, this sucks. Week longer than expected. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I go in, was it a Friday week before my due date for one of my appointments. I have another appointment on Monday. I had been full blown throwing up for like 4 days straight. And I'm like, I'm I feel gross. I feel sick. I feel like I'm dying. And the nurse practitioner or whatever you want to call her just pretty much told me, "Oh, this is normal. It's normal to have, first trimester symptoms happen all over again."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Well, my blood pressure was slightly elevated, not enough for them to be concerned apparently, but it was higher than it had been my entire pregnancy." So, I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll just wait and I'll come back in on Monday whenever I'm supposed to see the actual doctor."
Mm-hmm.
Come that Sunday morning, I was throwing up at like 4 a.m. So, yeah, I think it was about 4 a.m. I felt horrible. My face was grossly swollen. All of me was grossly
You
swollen. It
were
was absolute.
insanely swollen.
It was so bad.
You were so swollen. Like you
Yeah.
looked terrible. You looked miserable. And I just remember I looked at you when you were at church and you're like, "Oh, I don't feel good. I was throwing up all morning." And I was like, "No, you look bad. Like
Yeah. Oh,
you look like you're on the verge of death."
I felt
And
it. I felt it. It was bad. It was bad. My pastor's wife came up to me and was just talking to me, asking how I was doing, everything. I'm like, man, I just feel like I haven't been feeling great. She's like, okay, if you're having like back pains, that you could be having back labor, right? And I'm like, I've been having back pains like really bad the past few days too. And I just thought, oh, like this is just part of being pregnant. Like I've just been hurting. But I guess that's also a symptom of them being sunny side up, which I didn't realize at the time. But
mhm.
I'm like, I've been having really bad back pain. I've been throwing up. And so I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm in labor. Maybe I'm going in labor. I just like my water hasn't broke or anything. Maybe that's just all it is.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I literally looked at Jenna and I was like, "Jenna, you need to come to my house when you take your blood pressure," because she was showing every single symptom of preeclampsia. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but even I'm like concerned.
It was bad.
And so she came over to my house and then we took her blood pressure and it was like what, 145
145 over
over
a
like a
100 and something.
hundred, yeah, 105
Yeah.
or something. Like it was like pretty
It,
dang elevated. And I'm like, okay, we'll take it
I'm
again. And then it was pretty much the exact same. Like,
mhm. At
and I
this
was
point,
like,
I am freaking out and trying not to. I start bawling.
yeah, she's freaking out. And I'm like, let me call our dad. Our dad is a
Granted,
doctor.
my husband's at work.
And yeah, her
Granted,
husband
during
was at
all of
work.
this.
And I
So
was like, hey, dad, like, this is her blood pressure. She's really swollen, yada, yada, yada. And he's just like, he's like, okay, well, there should be like a nurse line you could call the hospital and check in with them and see if she needs to come in. He's like cuz her like yes, her blood pressure's elevated, but it's not like considered risk, like it's not risky yet, pretty much is what he
Granted,
was saying.
risky is at 160.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
like, that's
called
the
we
baseline.
called the nurse line and I was like, my sister, I was like, she's been retaining a lot of fluid. She's incredibly swollen just everywhere. I'm like, her blood pressure is pretty high. And I told him, like, I recorded it down so I could tell him what her blood pressure was. And they're like, oh, well, when you do it on those at home monitors, it's like always a little high and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, she's been throwing up, like all these things. And they're like, she's probably fine. If you really think she needs to come in, you could bring her in. But like, pretty much just was just like, she's okay.
Like, "Oh, it's not a big deal. Like, she's
And
fine."
she
Yep.
had a like, yeah, you had a doctor's appointment the next day, and I was like, Jenna, like, I can take you. I will take you to the hospital right now. I'm like, unless you want to wait until tomorrow, which like her husband was off that day
Yeah, so
of the
I was like,
appointment.
I'll just wait till tomorrow because I'm like, okay, if the hospital's not worried about it, maybe I don't need to be worried about it. Like, maybe I'm actually fine and I'm just freaking out over nothing.
Long story
Yeah.
short, we should have taken her
We
in.
yeah, I should have demanded to stay that Friday. Let me just say that. But
So yeah,
anyway,
your appointment was in the afternoon that day, right?
yeah,
Like
it was
around
at
2 or 3.
2 o'clock. It was at 2 o'clock, like 2:10, somewhere around there.
And I'm like, let
Um,
me know how it goes. They had just spent like most of the day. So like in the city. So like we were like
yeah,
an hour and a half away from where or an hour to an hour and a half from where her appointment
yep,
was. So they like
was,
went there, they spent like a whole day there before her appointment. And they
yeah.
did you guys even have any of your bags packed or anything? Like in the car?
Yes, actually, I had the bags packed, like, a week prior. Like, I had all of my stuff packed that I needed except for, like, toiletries because don't know
Yeah.
when you'll need those. I didn't pack those with me, but I had everything else packed and ready, so, like, all of my postpartum stuff and, like, baby clothes, all this other stuff, like, I had some of my husband's clothes and everything, but
Mhm.
yeah, so all that was in the car, didn't have chargers, didn't have,
Didn't have a
um,
pillow, didn't have blankets, didn't have
pillow
like
blankets, didn't have any of the comfort things
like
that you
next.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Didn't have any of the
but
baby stuff either, right? I think someone had to
no,
bring
no,
that.
so I had I had everything except for what was it?
You didn't have a ton of outfits. You had like maybe
I
two
didn't
or
have I
three
have, like,
outfits
2 outfits. Yeah,
and
I had
then
2,
some
newborn
diapers or
outfits.
something.
Yeah, I had 2 newborn outfits. Well, we can get into that in a minute, but yeah.
But
I had
okay,
newborn outfits because
anyway,
you expect your baby to be itty
they get
bitty,
to the
but
hospital and obviously they check her blood pressure and it was like 160 something over what like 120 or
so
like what was
originally
it?
I was it whenever I was, started the appointment, I didn't get to see the doctor. I was
Mhm.
supposed to see the doctor, but I saw the nurse practitioner again. Her nurse, whatever, took my blood pressure. I was at 157 over 104, something like that, I think. And she was like, "Okay, we're gonna check in again whenever, like, your appointment's over just to be sure, but your blood pressure is really high right now. And, like, approaching, like, we need to be like, we may have to admit you today." I'm like, "Oh, freaking great. This is awesome." But she was also kinda looking at me like, "Oh, crap. You don't look like you're good. Like, you look so much worse than you looked on
On Friday.
Friday." And I'm like, "I feel like death." Okay, friggin' this is like a week straight of me throwing up now at this point to where I am like, I could not really keep anything down.
Mhm.
And so appointment goes through, they check my blood pressure again, I'm in 160s. And they're like, "Okay, we're gonna send you downstairs for monitoring."
So
Like,
she's in
they're like, "Don't."
the OB area
Yeah,
getting
and
monitored
yeah,
like every
go
15
down there.
minutes.
Yeah, so the first time, then I'm at 167, and it's just like it bumped up to almost 170. And they're like, "Yeah, we're going to go and take you down the hall. You're going to go to this room here. We're gonna induce you. We have to induce you. And like we gotta start you on magnesium right away." And so I'm freaking out because I'm like, "Oh crap." I didn't want to induce. That was one of the things I absolutely did not want to have to do. And I wanted to, have my baby at term, which is a week away. Like, not actually a week away, but like 6 days away from where I am right now. I like, this freaking sucks. I'm freaking out. My husband is texting his family, texting my family because they're both like bombarding us with texts, asking like, "What's going on? Why are you
Well,
still
because at
there?"
this point, yeah, you were already there for
Yeah.
over an hour, and if you've
Yeah.
never had a baby and you don't know, most OB appointments, you're literally in and out. You're in,
Yep.
they measure you, they check your blood pressure, they're like, "Okay, it's all good, you're out." Like 20 minutes tops, maybe.
Oh, jumping back. Sorry.
So she had already been there
So
over an
that
hour.
that Friday, I was 50% effaced and I was 3 centimeters dilated. Come
Mhm.
that Monday, I was 4 centimeters dilated and 75% effaced. So they're like, "Okay, like you're
Like
pretty much at that
practically
point
in
you are
labor.
in labor." Like that's what they told
Like
me.
early stage labor, yeah.
Early stage labor, yes. And so I'm like, "Okay, I'm already technically in labor. I guess there's that." And I was like, "Okay, I don't want to do a C-section. I'm going to do this natural." Yeah. Well,
Okay, so anyway, me
mhm,
and my mom, right? We ended up coming and seeing you in the hospital on Monday.
mhm.
Um,
Bringing us all the stuff that we didn't bring.
yeah, bringing a bunch of stuff.
Oh,
We had to stop by their
so
apartment.
my mom was at my apartment because they were setting up our, internet, and so she did all of the dishes for me. Like, we had dishes stacked up in the sink behind me. She did all of those for me, everything, and I'm grateful for it
Mhm.
because we got back way later than I wanted to, but
Yeah, that would be
yeah,
rough.
and then she was like, "Okay, what else? Well, like, what all do I need to grab?" And so I'm just texting her a list. They're trying to get the IV in my arm. Blew out 2 veins in that, in that little segment there,
Mhm.
trying to find, and then they like both sides. Then they went back to my left arm, found a vein, got it in, started me on my magnesium. Immediately were checking my levels of everything. So like did like drew labs and everything. 15 or so minutes later, they're like, "Oh, your potassium's low. We need to like get you on potassium immediately." What they didn't tell me is that the magnesium they had me on to keep me from seizing uh, was counteracting the pitocin they had me on, which is my labor inducing,
Mhm.
my inducing
What they
labor.
use to help, yeah, labor progress. Yeah.
Yeah. So that sucked. That was great. I'm just sitting here this entire time. I'm like, I'm gonna be stuck in this bed. My back was absolutely freaking killing me. It was horrible. Then they kept telling me, "Oh, your contractions aren't like they're not that bad, whatever." But they were only like measuring it from the front, and I was feeling
Mhm.
everything in my back. I'm like, "I am in so much pain right now," and they're just telling me, "Oh, like, your
Oh, it's
contractions aren't that
fine.
bad. They're not that bad." I'm like, "You're telling me they're not that bad, but I'm feeling it. Like it's here." But
Yeah, but we came and saw you and
oh,
stayed for a little bit.
yes. Yeah, so the doctor was supposed to be there to see me, right? The doctor apparently was gone. Like he was out for something, whatever, and he wasn't gonna be back until the morning. So I met the other doctor that I had never seen before and said, "Well, if you actually get to this point here, then I'm gonna deliver you." I was like, "I don't even know you." Like, I have no clue who you are. I've only met the other doctor once. I'm like, he's already been all up in my business. And now I'm gonna have another person all up in my business, seeing out everything. I'm like, "This is horrible." Like, I hate this. This sucks. But yeah, so it's like, "Oh, he'll be back tomorrow in the morning if he can just hold out until then." We're approaching 4, 5 in the 5, 5 at night, whatever friggin' whatever you wanna call it.
I don't know.
And
Mom and I
I'm
didn't
being
get there
told,
till like 6 or something.
yeah,
And then we
well,
stayed
yeah.
until like 10.
So I was just like, "Okay, I'm just gonna try and get through this. We'll be fine. It's what it is." Like, I went through my birth plan and everything with that doctor. I was like, "Well, I hope that I can just hold out until the next day." My husband, granted, it's kind of just like pale face in the corner, like, I don't know what to do. And
Mhm.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, "I'm in pain." They keep like they have to draw labs on me, like, literally every 15 minutes. So I'm getting no peace. They're taking my blood pressure every 15 minutes. Like, I am literally hooked up to where I cannot get up to go to the bathroom. I can't get up to do anything. Like, I'm stuck right there. This life was not that it for me. Luckily, I did force Vance to take like, we went and ate before all of this because I was like, "I am not going in without eating just in case they just in case I'm gonna be stuck there for a while," and I'm kinda glad.
Yeah. And then you were. Well,
Yep.
because then we came back the next day. So Tuesday,
Mhm.
still no baby. She wasn't really like you weren't really progressing any. Um,
I had
so
progressed to
like maybe a 5 or a 6. Because you
6. I
were
was at 6 centimeters and I was stuck for a while.
yeah, like you were there like all day.
But
But okay, so me and
yeah.
my mom came back the next day and we brought my kids because I didn't have anybody to watch them.
Mhm.
And so like we were doing stuff, so we weren't like constantly there with my kids the whole time. But I just remember like we had them there, and so every time they would flip Jenna onto one side, so was it your right side? Like her blood
Yeah.
pressure would spike.
Mhm. Because it was the arm they were taking the blood pressure from. They kept flipping me
Yeah,
over
and
onto it.
so they were like so concerned because every time, because when they're in labor and they're trying to progress like your dilation and
Like,
everything, they're
they
constantly
move you
flipping
from side
you
to side, like,
back and
every
forth to get
15
like
minutes, I was being moved around, and
yeah.
it was ridiculous. I was so freaking tired.
And
Oh
so
my
yeah,
gosh.
so
Yeah.
they tried to tell us that it was my kids stressing her out and that's why her blood pressure kept spiking. So we like left and I was like, I
Is that
mean,
what they said?
that's literally what your nurse was pretty much. She was like, I think that the kids being in here are
All the
just
extra excitement. The
yeah,
extra
something like that.
excitement.
And I was just like
I told
uh,
her, I'm
and
like,
it was
"The only
literally
time
every
that
time
it's
they flipped
spiking is
her.
when they turn me
Yeah,
onto
like
the side
every
that it is
and I'm just
doing."
sitting here like every time it spikes is whenever she's laying on one specific side. And so we're like, okay, sorry. Like, so we left and I think we went to like Target and, we maybe got some food and shopped
Oh,
around
yeah.
or whatever.
I had no shoes that fit me. I was so swollen that, like, I
Oh, yeah.
was
We had to
wearing
buy
these
you and
crappy little
Vance
fuzzy
shoes, I think.
socks. Yeah, because
Um,
we had none of that.
but anyway, after like a couple hours, maybe one or two, we came back
I had a different nurse at this
and it
time.
was a different nurse and they're like, "Oh, it seems like every time we flip you to your right side, your blood pressure spikes. So we're just going to try to not do that." And I was like,
You're like, "Oh, well, duh,
"Really?" I'm like,
okay,
if anything, my
thanks."
kids are like distracting her from what's going on right now,
Yeah,
but
I'm less stressed with the kids. I was definitely a lot less stressed when the kids were there. Whenever I'm like, "You're coming in here every 15 minutes poking and prodding at me, and you expect my blood pressure to go down like that?" Like,
yeah. But
uh
I was like, okay. Like the nurse obviously she said it kind of nice, but it was just kind of like get your freaking kids out of here and it was like, okay,
pretty much.
sorry. And so we left. And all my kids were doing at the time too, like I think Sadie was playing on her tablet and then Ivy was like eating a snack. Like they weren't even like
Yeah, they were
screaming
sitting in the
or
corner.
anything.
They were
Like
sitting in the
it
corner.
was literally they were being so calm at this
I wonder if
point,
she just doesn't
and
like kids.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
"You're
It
in the
was
wrong
so
profession if you
weird.
don't
It
like
was so
kids."
weird, and I was just like, okay. Um, so then I think we came back. We ended up bringing Vance food at some point, and then there was
Mhm,
still no baby. But we were there when your doctor came in, so he showed up, and he was
mhm.
like, "Look, you're not progressing. He's like, I highly suggest you have a C-section." And this was probably like what 6 o'clock and seven
So
o'clock.
it was yeah, 6 o'clock. No,
I don't
okay,
quite
so
remember. It was in the
I had
evening.
progressed to 8 centimeters, by 6 o'clock that night, but I was stuck there, and I had been stuck there for 3 hours. And so
Yeah.
he was like, "We're not saying like you're 100% effaced." So that's like my cervix was as thin as thin can be. Like that's exactly where you need it to be able to give birth.
Mhm.
But I was not progressing past 8 centimeters. And he was like, "Well, you can keep trying. We can keep moving you around, but I highly suggest like the longer this goes on, like the more dangerous it is for you and for baby.
Mhm.
Like the longer you're on the magnesium, the more you're gonna swell up, the more that she's gonna swell up, and like the harder it is gonna be for your body to push her out."
Yeah.
And I was determined to try and get this baby out of me naturally. So I, in my stubborn state, said, "I'm gonna keep trying."
Yeah. So we were like,
Okay.
okay, that's cool. We stayed for like 2 more hours. I think we left around 8 o'clock that
Yeah,
night.
we played card games. I
No.
started to get the
Oh yeah, that is true. We did
yeah.
start to play card game, and
I
you were
started to get
started throwing up.
literally just moved the trash can and said, "Oh, that is gonna be too heavy to lift." And
It
then a
was
nurse came
so
in and
heavy.
said, "You
There
need a
was
vomit
like
bag?
it was
You
like
need a
a
vomit bag? Here, they're in
12.
here. Relayed it to you." I'm like, "Okay." Like I
It
don't
was
feel
like a
like I'm gonna
30
throw up
pound
yet,
trash
so I'm
can,
fine.
man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't. We weren't told there
So
were puke bags, so I
oh
didn't
no.
know.
No. So she handed
Anyway.
me the puke bag. I'm like, "Okay, we're playing like it's 5 crowns." I was just going through. I am getting the shakes really bad. Like pregnancy shakes.
She's like,
Like, I'm like, I can't but
can't
yeah,
even read the
I'm like, "I can't
cards.
even read my cards."
And
Yeah,
then
it
she
was so
goes, I'm
bad.
gonna throw up.
I'm like,
And
"I'm
just
gonna
like,
throw up." I turned into it immediately, just "Bleh." Like,
yeah.
okay, I had nothing in my stomach, so it was just all, like, water, like, chicken
Hmm.
broth, whatever they freaking let me
Popsicles.
eat, popsicle, all of that came up. I'm like am I dying?" Like, are we
Am I
finally
dead?
getting to the point where this is yeah. And I'm like, "Okay, I think I'm good now." And then I threw up like 1 or 2 more times. And then
Then
I'm
you
getting
were
the shake
okay,
so bad
but
and I'm in yeah, no, I got into so much pain where I was like, I feel like I'm trying like my body was trying to push her out. And like I'm on epidural, whatever. I got that midnight the night that I got there
oh yeah,
because
we
I
could
was
talk about
big
that.
time. Oh my gosh.
That was so bad.
It was so bad.
Here's the
No.
thing. I don't have anything against, nurses or anything. Nurses do
Yeah, no.
so much. But the
But
nurses
this
that
nurse,
Jenna
oh my gosh. Every time I'm like,
to
man,
be
I'm like
fair, I
really
do think that
hurting.
she was like fresh out of school, like fresh out of nursing school, but
She had to
oh
be.
my word, it was so bad. So like one, she almost pulled Jenna's IV out because she tripped over
She
the
tripped over it twice. Twice. She tripped over it twice. The one time she was in the room.
And then Jenna's like, I'm in a
Oh,
lot of pain right now. Like, is there
I
any
can
way? So, like, when you have an epidural, it's hooked up to a machine where you can press a button and
like
it
you
should
can click
dispense more
it.
medicine. Um,
And she's like,
so
"Yeah, yeah,
anyway,
I can
she
do
was
that."
like over there and she's like, yeah, I'll do that. So she does it, put that in quotes for a reason, trips over the IV,
Walks
leaves.
out.
And it's been like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And Jenna's like, I'm still in so much pain. Like I'm still in a lot of pain.
Like,
And so
this is
I'm
not
like,
helping.
let me see. I'm like, she did dispense it, right? And I'm like, let me go look at the machine. I go and I look at the machine and it says like confirm extra dose or like something along the lines of that, or
Pretty
like
much.
confirm more
Yeah.
epidural. And I was like, Jenna, I don't think you ever got more.
I literally think these people thought I was a druggie because they're like, "Man, she's on so many pain meds right now. Like, she just keeps asking for it." I'm like,
No,
"I'm in so much pain. What is
it was
going on?"
literally
Yeah.
like,
It
and so I think what she came back like maybe 30 minutes later or something, like after you had thrown up, because she was like, let me know if she throws up. So she throws up.
yeah.
We call her back in. They're like, hey, she's throwing up. And then Jenna's like, I am still in so much pain. I'm in like agonizing pain. And she's like,
Mhm.
can you just check the epidural? And so she goes over and she's like, she doesn't say anything, but like her eyes kind of go, and then she just
Yeah,
like
make
presses
the
the
face.
button and she's like, yeah, you should be good. And leaves.
Yeah, I'm like, "You gotta be absolutely freaking
Oh
kidding
my
me right
gosh.
now."
It was just like, okay, like,
Oh,
so I'm like,
it
should
was bad.
somebody be
It was
like
bad.
doing this with you? Because oh my word, it was bad. And then anyway, we end up leaving. Um, and then we get a text at like midnight, and Vance is like, she decided to have a C-section or
Okay.
something
Granted, I have been in labor now at that point for
for like
35
48 hours
hours.
practically.
The 30
For
well,
almost 2 full days, you
almost
were
2
in labor.
Look, I was in labor for a while, okay, guys? It was rough, let me just say that. But at least 35 hours that I can officially say I was in labor for. And I have been pushing and pushing. I got to the point where, like, my body was I knew I was in and out of consciousness. Like, I could not stay awake for the life of me, but I also wasn't sleeping. Like, like that dazed state you're kind of in
Mhm.
whenever you're just in so much pain you can't focus on anything. And whenever the doctor came in, I can barely even recall what we talked about hardly besides he said something about this being like, "We can go until 5 in the morning, but you're at the point that if you go any longer, your baby and you might not survive." And so I was like, "I'm not risking that happening." Like, I didn't care about myself, whatever, in the moment at all. I could not have cared less what happened to me, but I was like, "I'm not risking my kid's life just because I'm determined to give birth naturally." So it's like it was really rough. I started crying. He left the room
Mhm.
before we made the decision. So my husband and I talked and he was like, honestly, like I would just go on ahead and do a C-section right now. Like you've been trying, you've done everything you can. Your body can't handle it right now. And it's like, but if you want to go again, like if you want to keep going, then it's your decision. And I just broke down and I remember crying and saying, my body can't take it anymore. Like I've been trying, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so doctor came back in, prayed with us and everything about the decision, took me to go and prep me. I thought literally it was like 5 minutes. Like they prepped me. I was back in the room, maybe 5 minutes, like the op operation room, whatever. What do you call that?
The OR.
The
Yeah, the
OR. Yes,
operation
that
room is
operation
OR.
room. So I was right. Okay. But they took me back to the OR. I'm just kind of dazed in there. They moved me onto the table. I'm like, I remember
Which
saying, sorry, I'm so heavy. Like, because I was like, it took like four of them to like move me over. But I was like so swollen. So I was like, it was rough. And I don't remember entirely. Like, we had the night staff, I guess, which isn't as good as the day staff. I'm like, they did fine with me.
well, it's just
Besides
like
the fact I
it's
heard the
the
doctor.
on-call people, so it's pretty much
Yeah,
like you
instead
woke
of
them up out of their sleep to be there,
yeah, yeah.
which I mean
So
is what it
I
is.
wasn't sleeping. They don't need sleep. It's fine. But no, I just remember I'm kind of like dazing out a bit. I'm like, I'm so freaking tired. And then I hear a loud crash. And I'm like, what? And the doctor's like, oh crap, I dropped everything. And I'm like, oh, I guess you dropped all the instruments.
Every
So they had to
single
reset
surgical tool
the room.
was dropped
Yeah,
on the floor.
everything. And so I think, oh, like that all happened within like 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden my husband's back. I hear, sorry about your head after a pressure is released from inside of me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Then he looks up and like, look at your beautiful baby girl. I'm like, I can't even really see her. Like, kiss her head through the
The
plastic,
cover, like the
whatever.
plastic,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm like, oh, looking at her, I'm like, crap, she's so swollen. Like,
She ugly.
like she's very chunky right now. And then
I
they
just
took
remember
like
the
it was
like because I didn't get that experience with Sadie, right? So like I didn't get to see her for like a hot minute after she was born. And then with Ivy, they did that. They like pulled her up and put her,
yeah.
up on me almost immediately so I could see her, yeah, through like the plastic cover. And I just remember being like, oh, like
No, this looked okay. She looked like a little Mexican baby, not gonna lie. I was like, what the crap? This came out of me? Are you sure? You sure that's mine? And then,
You
like,
sure
they
that's
took her
what you
over,
need?
weighed her and everything. I glanced over and see my husband holding her. They're
She's
like, and
huge. She was
I hear him
huge.
shout, 9 pounds, 6 ounces. I was like, holy crap, that tried to come out of me.
You're
And
like,
he
no
said, yeah, I
wonder.
had to, so I had to push her up, like push her up in order to get
Mm,
her out because her head was like starting to come through, like she was stuck. I was like, okay, that's
yeah.
fun. But I remember just the immediate relief after he pulled her. But she
Yeah.
was like fighting to not come out. I
She's
was
like,
like,
I'm
man,
not
like,
ready.
yeah.
I'm not ready.
But so they said my placenta was starting to calcify, and it was this big. Like it was that
So
big, and it
pretty
was
much
starting to
her
calcify
placenta, yeah, like would have died. It was pretty much dead. Like so she was probably originally like
over
41
overdue.
weeks overdue.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the placenta doesn't usually calcify until that's why a lot of doctors don't want you to go over like 41, 42 weeks pregnant because the placenta
Mhm.
just like the nutrients just dies. So like her placenta was already in that process of calcifying.
So
So
I
they had to
wonder
like
if that,
rip it out of her pretty much.
yeah, like so, like he had to cut it out of me,
Well, yeah,
but
you know, I was
which
being
extends the healing process, which
yeah.
friggin' sucks. But I I was so mad. Not gonna lie, how everything went right there. I was
Yeah,
not a
it
happy
was very
camper.
poor. Poor me.
Whatever, like she's out. I'm like, they wheel me back into the bed, like back into the original room that I was in. Like, yeah, they rolled me onto the bed and then wheeled me back into the room. And now I have
Roll.
this kid here.
They did not roll you. They lifted you and they
Okay, they
placed you.
lifted me and scooted me over, whatever you want
Woof.
to.
Just
It felt
roller.
like they rolled
Roll
me.
her off.
Oh my gosh, it was, yeah. But yeah. So all of that, I have her. Like, do you want us to like bring her thing next to you? Because Vance had, like, he was holding her for so long and everything, and they put the, what is it, the bed, her bed thing, whatever,
The
next to
like
me.
oh gosh, now you got me the bassinet
Ah,
thing. It's like a
yeah,
cot
the
or
bassinet
something.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. So they kept that near me. He passed out completely, like he was worn out. I'm like, I'm sitting here, I'm in and out. They're still checking my blood pressure every 15 minutes. They're still drawing my labs, still doing all this.
And she still
I've
had a
been on,
high blood pressure
I
afterwards.
had high
Cause
yeah, because my potassium was so low. So by the next day, I had dropped to 2.5. And the lowest you're supposed to be, like, naturally is 3.5. Otherwise, you're getting close to ICU levels. I was pretty much ICU level, and they
yeah,
probably should have moved me into, but
crazy
yeah. So
stuff.
I wasn't retaining like fluids. It was still just all going on me. They were changing my. This is really gross, but they were changing my catheter bag like every hour, pretty much on the hour, because I was just
Cause
like,
you
fluid was
were
just going
yeah,
through
you were
me.
releasing all the fluid finally. You looked
Yeah, it
so
was.
much better like the next couple of days, but you still like you looked rough for a while.
Yeah, yeah. It was, well,
Make
it
this
was
not
rough.
sound fun at
What?
all. I said you guys make this not sound fun at all. I've already been
It
scared enough, and you guys just make it worse with your experiences.
doesn't always go.
It's not always this bad. Let me just say
Yeah,
that.
it's
Like,
not always this
we've
bad.
had unlucky things happen.
I was
I
say
had
we've been
multiple
very
unlucky things.
unlucky.
Yeah, but
Jenna's problem was just because of her like cycles not ever being normal.
Yeah,
No
that's
one
true.
really knew like when she conceived,
yeah.
and so they didn't
So
know her gestational age. They were just kind of guesstimating, and so
Mm.
that has a lot to do with what her problem was. So like in the
mhm.
future, as long as they plan it,
That's we're that's what we're going for right now
yeah,
is a
that
plan
it'll
that
probably
we'll have to
go. It probably
induce
won't have
again.
that same problem.
Yeah, yeah. What just
Cole, you
happened?
still there?
You still there, Cool? Oh, their Wi-Fi went out. Okay. Finish up. Uh, we're just through part 1.
Okay, no, we don't need to
But
go. We
yeah,
don't
no,
need to go into
we don't
every
need to go
single
in depth.
detail.
But
But pretty much,
yeah,
so me, Rusty, and I. So you had baby early Wednesday morning,
yes.
technically,
His
and
family came
then
over, saw her, held her, did all
mhm.
that. Went through it. They left. Y'all come.
Then me and Rusty came, left our kids with mom and dad, I think, because they weren't gonna come up, and
Mhm.
saw her. And it was like kind of weird because I remember holding her and I almost started freaking out because she was like gagging. And you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. She's been doing that. And I was like,
Yeah, it's
okay.
it's something she had done, like, all
I'm like,
night.
I don't remember
All
like my kids doing that, but okay. And, we came and it was calm for about 5 seconds.
Yep.
And then, so we left. I don't know the timeline of her. Was it just the next day where they were concerned or?
Yeah, so around that night at, like, 12, like, leading into the next day,
Mhm.
like, I tried feeding her, like, like, after having all of this, whatever, I wasn't producing. And so, like, I'm trying to produce everything, like, trying to get out whatever I can. So I'm trying to feed her, and then she starts just spitting up, like, lime green. And I'm like, the nurse saw it and was like, "Is that the that was the first time I'd seen her do it." I'm like, "Is this something I need to be concerned about? Like, what's going on?" And she's like, I'm gonna take her back. We're gonna do a chest X-ray and then, uh, see if we need to, like, flush out something." And I'm like, "Can my husband go?" He's passed out. Like, he's passed out on the bed. I'm like, "Can somebody go with her? Like, that way, whatever." He's like, no, he can't go back in there, but, like, it shouldn't take that long." So I'm like, "Okay, well, it shouldn't take that long." Come 3 in the morning, then they finally brought her back to the room, said they couldn't find anything on the chest X-ray. They flushed her out, and I'm like, hoping that works, whatever. I try feeding her again at around 5. They said to wait until then. That's whenever they actually had all of the results and everything. I'm like, "No, we couldn't find anything." Tried feeding her again, same thing happens. So then her doctor comes in and says, "Okay, like, I've looked at everything. I haven't seen anything. I'm gonna contact these people and see, like, if they know what's going on and everything. Well, if it's anything that we need to be concerned about." I'm like, "Okay, like, so we're fine, like, everything's good, whatever." Hear absolutely nothing back. I've been trying to feed her, still can't feed her. They just said not to feed her. So this is dragging on, and up until noon that day, around noon, sometime around there. This is the Thursday. I showed up Monday. This is Thursday. Uh, she's still not able to eat, still spitting up. Like, she's only done it 3 times, but I've only tried to feed her 3 times because they told me not to feed her in this period of time just to see if anything would flush out all this, blah, blah, blah. Um, Doctor comes back in and says they contacted OU, and they're going to take her up there in 30 minutes. They're sending the NICU unit over. I'm like, "Excuse me?" Granted, this was right after we had finally gotten food. I'm finally gonna get to eat and, like, just be able to, relax on everything. Not even 30 minutes later, like 15 minutes later, they show up to come and take my baby away. And my husband's just scrambling, grabbing stuff to, like, take because I'm, like, sending him with her. I'm being told I'm not allowed to leave the hospital because my potassium's too low. I'm stuck. And so I'm like, "He needs to go, like, you need to go with her." Um, my parents show up, like, right as soon as the NICU team is there and is prepping her to take her. So, my family didn't get to hold my parents didn't get to hold her, but at all until they sent off. Whatever. I'm freaking out because I'm like, well, what's wrong with my baby? My baby's being sent like 30 minutes away from where I am currently, and I'm stuck
Mhm.
here. So my mom stays with me. My dad drives my husband up there, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, like I'm freaking out. I'm pacing the room. Okay, I'm not supposed to be walking as much as I am. I didn't care. I couldn't have cared less. I was up whenever they immediately said I could be up, and I'm pacing the room like I want to get out of here. I want to go see my baby. Doctor keeps hesitating, won't let me leave. And so I'm being told, well, I can stay there for the rest of the for the night by myself. Like they gave me pretty much an ultimatum. I can stay here. They can keep me on potassium. Like keep like try to raise that. They've had me on 8 bags of this now at this point. I'm pretty sure, and I've still not raised past 2.5. Like I've been stuck at 2.5 for 2-3 days now. Pretty much all the things that could have gone wrong right there. My husband talked me out of leaving because I was determined to leave. The doctor gave me an option that I could leave,
Pretty much they said
but
she
I would
could
have to go.
AMA and then
Yeah,
or she would stay. So
or I'd
AMA
stay.
is like you're leaving against medical advice.
Hmm.
So it's like they would allow her to leave, but she would have to sign a bunch of papers stating that she willingly left.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
and I was determined to do it until my husband called me and pretty much talked me out of it. And so I stayed there the
But
night.
it's a good thing that you did because then you were
It,
still on it for several hours, like or pretty much the whole next day.
yeah.
Which is when I came to see you. I dropped my kids off with Rusty's parents
Mhm.
or Rusty's mom, and I was like, I'll come and I'll keep you company and we'll try and get your milk supply up because she was pumping, trying to get things going.
Yep.
And in conclusion, so Aurora was in the hospital for like at OU for what, like 4
Uh,
days?
because it was Thursday, Friday.
Thursday they picked her up, right? And then it was Friday, Saturday,
Yeah, we took
Sunday,
her home Sunday.
Sunday. Oh, so
Yeah,
like
end
three.
of
Okay.
Sunday. Yeah. So she was there 3
Um,
days. I
and
was in the
they,
hospital until
yeah,
Friday.
and they never found
And it's
anything wrong with her. And so everyone was
mm,
like, why didn't they try and substitute and give her some formula to eat? Because if Jenna, like, she wasn't producing, then she wasn't getting any food and therefore, throwing up stomach acid or stomach bile.
so
Um,
what the nurse said at the NICU was pretty much, "Oh, it's a natural plug all newborns have, and all of them, all like they dispel it. It just takes time. So it's either that comes out like one way or another. It's going to come out on its own. There's nothing
mhm,
you can do about it." He was like, She's perfectly healthy. I don't know why she's here." Pretty much is all he was stating. And I'm
yeah,
like, so we're stuck there. Like she was stuck there for 3 days, despite the fact that she was perfectly fine. It's just that she hadn't been eating anything because I couldn't produce anything because our birth experience was traumatic. So it took longer for the friggin' breast milk to come in.
yeah.
But yeah.
So, yeah, pretty much she had a nice NICU stay for zero reason. And
Mhm.
then she like what lost a ton of weight too because they weren't feeding her like
Feeding
at
her.
all
Yeah. So she went
until
from
like
9 pounds, 6
48
ounces
hours,
to, yeah.
like
So
literally hardly any food. I'm like, how do you
just by the
starve an
time,
infant for 48 hours?
mhm. So the
Crazy.
day I showed up, so that Friday, I got discharged at 5. We got there about 5:30, 5:45, somewhere around there. Um, that's when they just decided to start feeding her formula. Like not via tube or
Yeah.
anything like that. So like I was able to feed her and everything. I just remember whenever we got there, my husband and his mother walked out of the NICU. Like I had walked the entire way to the NICU. Like I was determined. My dad was like, "We can get you a wheelchair, dude." I'm like, "No, like we're just going. Let's just go." Got there. I got my picture taken. Did all the things that you're supposed to do to like get your ID and everything for it.
Because so yeah, they
And
were what, a level
yeah,
3 NICU? Is that what it is?
yeah,
Like the highest level of NICU, so you have to have special permissions to even be able to go into the NICU, and they limit
You
it to
can
like
only have
four
two
people at a
visitors at a
time,
time.
but you can only allow four different
Like
people
4
in.
people. Yeah.
And pretty much it's so that, the babies stay healthy, and then if somebody gets something, then they know who's been in and out and yada
Mhm.
yada yada.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, then like there's really not a whole lot much more to kind of touch on there. It was
no.
pretty much like when she started eating, she did fine. They just had to make sure she got up to eating like a certain amount of ounces, right? And then she
Yeah.
was allowed to leave, like without throwing up or without, whatever.
Yeah.
And so
Like, as long as she passed all of her tests, like the hearing test and all of that stuff, then she's good to
mhm,
go.
yeah.
And so that was the last little bit we did was the final our doctor our doctor's name was Dr. Doolittle in the NICU. That's one
That's so
takeaway that
cool.
I remember. Like, she was great. I loved her
Hmm.
100%. I was happy with her. And I mean, our daughter was probably just like a teaching moment for all the other like residents that they had go through there, because she came in a couple of times with all of her residents and started asking questions, and then
And
she would be like, "Oh, how
was
would you
also
do
the
that? Like, and
biggest
what would you?"
baby, biggest baby there probably.
Oh yeah, she was. All the nurses came by to see her and were like, "Oh, this is what like a term baby looks like. Like, this is adorable. Love." Yeah,
Yeah,
she was loved on. She was doted on, but I was, I was so
yeah.
freaking, mm,
It's
yeah.
stressful. I mean, like
Though
Ivy
I, I will say the
being
best. Sorry,
no, you're good. Go
the
ahead.
best thing about that was the Ronald McDonald suite. Like, we didn't have to pay for that. We didn't like that was purely by donation. Everything. I don't know
Hmm.
how we qualified for it, but we did, and that was like the best bed I've ever been. The best shower I took immediately after everything. Like, I am so grateful for that. 100%. Definitely needed. But yeah, NICU experience stressful. Sorry, go back into your your NICU experience, Mickey.
I mean, which I don't know if I've touched on before. Maybe I have. I don't quite remember. But like that was kind of what was insane to me. So my youngest was in the NICU, but she was stayed at the hospital that I was at, so she was pretty much just right down the hall. Like she didn't have to be transferred out. Yet she had glucose problems. So like when she was born, her glucose levels never like rose to what they needed to be at. They stayed really low, so they kept having to feed her like um pretty much like sugar water, and then none of that was helping, so they did that for about 12 hours, and then when it didn't work, they took her back and they put her on a IV of dextrose 10, or I think that's what it was, of dextrose. So pretty much like pumping it straight to her. And I just remember like being so stressed out about that because like they didn't know why she wasn't like keeping, like it wasn't keeping up. And then also they were like, well, she might have an infection, like that she, caught pretty much in the womb, like some sort of bacterial infection or something. So they were like, we can't figure out what's wrong with her. We need to, put her on antibiotics. Like they were just pretty much doing all these things that I don't know if they were necessary, but like they were trying to prevent, like kind of worst case scenario. They did a bunch of blood work, but they never found anything wrong. They never found any infection, but they just kept her on all this stuff. So like her glucose
Mhm.
levels were slowly rising. She had to be in there for like 4 days, I think is what it was. From like
Oh,
pretty much 12 hours after birth, she got taken and then was in there. So like I can't even remember when we brought her home, honestly. It was probably on a Sunday too or something.
um,
Um but yeah, so that part was really stressful, and then I don't even know how they discovered it. But then they had found out that she had a heart murmur while she was back there. And I don't feel like they ever like elaborated on it. They were just like, she has to have an ultrasound to check her heart. And so we're like, okay, so not only does she have this glucose problem going on, like she can't keep her glucose up, and it's like now she has like a heart problem.
mhm.
And that was the part that I think like really stressed me out the most, because it was like what's going on. I wasn't very well kept in the loop at all on like what was going on with her. And we were we weren't allowed to go back there just whenever. Like I was allowed to go back there for feedings and stuff. So like they allowed me to feed her. But I wasn't like able to go like and just stay back there with her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though like their NICU wasn't as strict by any means. Like we could just take kind of whoever back there. But yeah, it was still maxed out. I think we could only have 2 or 3 back there at a time, maybe. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
we
you
like
didn't have a list of these are the only people that can go back
like
there.
we weren't limited to like who, it was just like a max number of people.
Yeah.
So like, you know, families got to hold her and such like after a while. Like she was back there, we weren't really allowed to touch her or pick her up or anything for a minute, but then when we were allowed to feed her, like I was just pumping for a while and then like sending the breast milk back, so they would feed her like bottles of breast milk, and then I think they did it formula occasionally just to try and help with her glucose levels. But yeah, like, and then so come to find out, she like when they did the ultrasound, we were able to be back there with her, which was nice, and I was like crying the whole time because I'm like, you know, like what's going on. They found out that she has a ventricle, oh gosh, I literally had it in my head and then I lost it. VSD is the abbreviation. Ventricular septal defect, that's what it is. So pretty much she has a hole in her heart. In one of the ventricles. So that's why they were hearing the murmur. And she usually babies have it in the womb, but when they by the time they like come out, it closes on its own. Like it's, you know, one of those things. Well, with my daughter, it didn't close, but it is the most common heart defect to have, and it's usually not deadly or not fatal, I guess is the proper term or whatever. And so she got diagnosed with that, and so they had to, you know, keep her on a heart monitor, just keep her, you know, pretty much just keep monitoring her for a while, and then finally her glucose levels went back up and they brought her back out to me, but she had to stay like in the hospital. They just wanted to, you know, check on her. We had to talk to a lot of doctors about like signs to look out for heart failure. And so it was a stressful time, and we didn't go through all of that, you know, that whole process, but either way, like not fun. Like when you are told your baby has to go to the NICU, and you usually assume that's like, oh, only babies that have like are preborn or, you know, premature or like have something seriously wrong with them go to the NICU. And then to where it's like every single one of the children that I've had have had some sort of issue, and then now you've had, so like my firstborn, she just had jaundice, which to me was still very stressful at the time because she was my firstborn, and I had the worst birth experience of my life. And so I had very, very bad PPA and probably even PPD, and I never got diagnosed with it because I hated my doctor, and I thought if I told her that I was like going crazy pretty much, that she would try and take my baby away. It was terrible.
I was on pills for my postpartum depression.
And then Jenna had PPD
for months. Yeah. Lots of months.
Like my second,
mine didn't hit until 3 months postpartum because they say it takes longer for you if you have like kids in the NICU and like all this like extreme stressful like births and everything. It takes longer for your body to like actually calm down enough to show
like,
all of those
process.
symptoms. Process whatever.
So just literally like that whole experience. I was surprised at how calm I was after Ivy, because like even though my birth was okay, like just everything that happened after was, you know, it sucked, but I was just like, okay, she's fine, like she's not dying. It was kind of like one of those things. And then obviously, you know, we have cardiologist visits every so often. She has another one coming up here soon. But like she's been like a perfectly normal child. Like you wouldn't ever even know that she had any of those problems. And so,
Yeah.
same with Aurora, like you would have never known that she was ever in the NICU. And I mean, even
Nope.
Scarlett, your sister-in-law, like
Yeah,
she's
she's
completely normal, and she
perfectly
was
normal.
premature, like what, born at 26 weeks, 24 weeks.
26, I think.
Just like
I think
very,
26.
very, she was born
We're like
very, very
really early.
early.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to know like the situations, even though like traumatic, like you're like, well, you at least walked away with your kid, which is
Yeah.
really nice.
I mean, my situation could have turned out really bad. Like I could have left and I could have had a lot of crap happen to me.
Yeah,
But
Jenna, yeah, yours
it,
was scary because I was like,
I think
I've
I stressed my
never,
entire family out.
I
It was so
never
bad.
like, because I never like me personally, I never really had like a bad pregnancy or like anything like that happen to me, towards birth, but like all the same, I'm like I would have rather it been me than my baby, like I would have rather
Yeah.
like me had been unhealthy, but then also like definitely not both of us at the same time.
Yeah. No.
Problems.
I think my husband was literally about to lose it.
But I do
But
think
like he
that,
had the previous experience with the NICU and
yeah.
everything. So he already knew how to get there, everything to do. Like he knew all of that just with Scarlett.
But I also do think that at least for me, it really what's the word? Like deters me from wanting to have more children because I'm like I already like the situation with both of mine, like my first one to me was like bad, even though
Mm,
it was a lot less serious, and to my second where it was like worse, and I'm like what would happen with a third? Would I even have like a third healthy baby? Because I'm like technically neither of mine were born like perfectly healthy, like in perfect
yeah.
health. And then I also get scared because I've seen so many people lately, I don't know why, but having stillbirths or like having missed miscarriages or like late miscarriages where they
Yeah.
like are already past like that 20-week mark or at least past like that 16-week mark, and they're losing their
Hmm.
baby. And I'm like, me, like I don't know if I could like mentally or emotionally handle that. But
Oh,
that's just like it more so scares me. Like one, being pregnant again, I'm don't care. I'm not a good pregnant person. I feel like absolute garbage when I'm pregnant. I don't like
mhm.
the pregnant feeling. Like even a lot of women are like, "Oh, I love the baby kicking. Like I just love it. It's so great, blah blah blah." Honestly, for me, I don't want to say I hated it because it's like I don't think I necessarily hated it, but it's just not something that like I necessarily enjoyed either. Like
I mean,
something
I
on
had
the
my child
inside
up
of
in
you
my
just like
ribs and
boom, boom,
down my
boom, boom,
hips
boom,
all the
boom.
time. And then she
And
starfished outside the womb too. So
yeah, no. So I'm just like all of that and then thinking about like, okay, what if I like get pregnant and then I lose this baby? And then what? Like do I try to have another or do I just like call it good? Like it would take a lot. It would take a lot. But
yeah.
anyway, I do think that's gonna have to be all for this time. I'll have a lot to cut out, but my kids are screaming
Ye-
and we need to get dinner on the table because it's kind of late.
Just a
So
bit.
we'll get to that. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're over on YouTube or leave a follow if you're on Spotify. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.